What should you do after selling your executive condominium? Let's go! Hi guys, this is Marcus, and recently there were a lot of executive condos just met their MOP. Moving forward from here could be quite a daunting one because many of them actually lock in very low installments of like $2,000-3,000. So today, whichever move that these owners will want to make will be a big jump. Therefore, if you are in such situation, this video could help because it provides you with more assurance, a clearer game plan, and also helps you understand how to move forward safely. Now, before I start, if you have any friends who own an executive condo, do me a favor, click the like button because this can help this video travel to more places and help more people out there who own executive condominiums. Thank you. So the executive condo is a 4-bedroom unit that my client bought through me in 2013 at $1 million. So the current valuation is $1.9 million. So basically my client actually close to 2x their money within a span of 10 years. When you buy your first property, you'll be very mindful of the profitability of this property. But many times, right, when people upgrade from this property, right, they tend to make mistakes. Why? Because today you got money already. So you tend to become more emotional than logical. What I mean is that sometimes when people are buying an investment, then they'll be thinking like, oh, maybe when I'm older that time, I may want to move in to stay. So I want to find a location that suits me the best. But knowing the master plan, right, that area will not have much growth, but you want to buy that location just because you have some feelings for that location. So in summary, investment is investment, own stay is own stay. So don't mix the two options up because at the end of the day, you'll be making wrong decisions. Okay, so much about the mindset. Let's go back to the context. So the installment mortgage was about $3,000 plus. And after paying the installment for the last 7 years, right, currently they should have about an outstanding loan of $600K. But for this context, the client is actually quite a saver and they tend to pay off their mortgage as soon as possible so they don't have a loan. Meaning to say, today, when they sell this property, they are getting back 1.9 million cold hard cash. Of course, plus a bit of CPF as well lah. So now, with so much money, what should you be doing? And to give you more details, they are a married couple with no kids. Both are working professionals and they drive at no loan as well. So with this context, right, I'm going to provide 3 options from a very conservative point of view to a more aggressive one so that you can use these to decide for yourself which one is better for you. Now, option number 1 is the more conservative method, which usually I won't do it, but may sound appealing for those that don't really want to get into any risk, is to sell away the $1.9 million condominium, rent for 15 months, and then buy an HDB for $800,000. Put the balance $1.1 million into a fixed deposit and let the money grow on its own. Now, if you do your math using CPF OA as an example, right? Take $1.1 million, compound it by 20 years. So $1.1 million times 1.025 equals $1.8 million 20 years down the road. For this client, they are in their 40s, early 40s, meaning to say that at age 61, when they choose to retire, they will have $1.8 million in their fixed deposit. Is that enough for retirement? Yes. Why I use this $1.1 million is because in Singapore context, someone to retire comfortably, you need a monthly expenses of about $3,000. And just for information, why 85 years old? Because in Singapore, the life expectancy rate is about 85 years old. $1.8 million at age 60 years old guarantees you a comfortable retirement. And now you may be telling me that, hey bro, 3,000 a month not enough. Okay, let's say if you use 10K a month for you, both you and your wife or your husband, because $1.8 million will actually give you $3,750 of interest per month based on 2.5%, meaning to say that from age 60 years old and you spend 10K a month, the 1.8 million will last you 24 years of expenses without being depleted. And even if it does, and 85 you're still going strong, right? You still have a HDB flat 800K that you can sell off, liquidate, move on to a renter, and that can also last you quite a long time as well. Oh, by the way, I searched around the internet and I realized that most property agents will only ask you to buy property and will not ask you to put your money in fixed deposit. So you do appreciate this kind of variety that I'm providing, right? So do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends because this will only encourage me to do more content like this. Thank you. Now, option number 2 is to elevate your asset portfolio by selling away this EC and buy an entry-level landed property or a CCR freehold property. And CCR means Orchard 9, 10, 11 CBD area, but a freehold property. Why? Because it's based on $1.9 million down payment itself. You are able to afford a landed property close to $6 million solely on the down payment itself. And our channel always advocates prudency, meaning to say that you should set aside 20% of your funds for rainy days as well. So minus of 20% means that you should be entering something at the range of $4.8 million. And $4.8 million means to say that your monthly installment will be 17K. So some people will be like, "Siao bro, 17,000. I now got no loan. Why pay 17,000 installment?" Right? So if you are worried about the installment, what you can do is after 1 year, go to the bank, do a refinance and stretch your loan tenure to 34 years, and then your installment will become 14,000 instead. But before you do anything, right, the stretch tenure, 20% buffer, please do your own due diligence. Why? Because we don't want to jump the gun and use assumption to make decision. Seek a professional advice, or you can call me, happy to give you my advice. So why do we always advocate a 20% buffer? Reason is because you need reserve funds for rainy days. You have 38,000 cash balance. So if you use 17K, the reserve funds can actually last you close to 2 years if in the case of both of you completely not making any income monthly. Now you'll be wondering why a CCR, freehold, or a landed property. Why? Because these are assets that are no longer available. It's either in the resale market or developer got an en bloc because government is not selling any more freehold land. Therefore, buying into something that fulfills a high level of scarcity, right, provides you with a very strong potential as a hedge and also to outgrow even inflation as well. Now, if you're not a lender person, freehold condos work as well, but they must fulfill certain attributes in order to be a good property investment. One of them, my personal favorite, is Park Infinite at Winam. Secondly, Rivergate, and also Tesserina is also fulfills all these qualities. So if you want to know what are the attributes, I don't want this video to become too long, drop me a message. I'm happy to share with you my insights. Now, option number 3, which is the classic sell one buy two. Some will say that nowadays people cannot. No, it's who you meet. People who have savings still can. People who have no savings obviously cannot. And it's just logical because only 20% of Singaporeans actually live in condominiums, means there's only 1 out of 5 person who can afford to buy a condominium. So that's just very normal. Usually when people talk about a sell one buy two concept, right, the biggest concern is whether can you qualify for the loan that is required to purchase 2 properties each in one person's name. Secondly, are you able to service the mortgage? Will the mortgage be so xiong until I have to live like a beggar like that? And thirdly, whether is it gonna be profitable? So with these 3 headaches or these 3 concerns in mind, this will form what I'm going to share with you. So first up, in terms of loan, there may be a chance that the second property that you purchase, you may not be able to qualify for a loan. Let's say your loan has a shortfall of 300k in order to qualify for the 75% loan on that property that you intend to buy. You can actually apply to put in 100k for 4 years as a fixed deposit, and then with that the bank can actually give you another loan of 300k because you have the 100k in the fixed deposit. And that is what we call pledging. There's also a way, if you are cash rich, then you can actually show the sums 2 times and then the bank can also grant you the loan as well. This is also a very complex process, so please seek a professional before you do anything about that. How we're going to structure this is to buy 1 for own stay, and then buy 1 for an investment. Meaning to say that own stay, right, you can afford to be emotional. Buy the kind of property you want. Most importantly, you enjoy a place that you love living in, the lifestyle that you want, and the mortgage has to be comfortable. And like what the classic rich dad poor dad says, right, the house that you live in technically is actually liability. Maybe not in Singapore context, but we go to that in future videos. But that is what people say. So it only makes sense for you to fully pay off this property as soon as you can so that you don't need to pay the bank any interest. Now, when I say you can afford to be a bit more emotional, I'm not saying that anyhow buy, overpriced also buy. No, I don't mean that. What I mean is that you can choose the location you want, but you still have to fulfill the level of quality. The price must be right. There must be exit strategy. The amenities must be there, transport must be easy also. All you need to think of future, whether someone else who wants to buy for own stay, does this check all the boxes? Is yes, you're good to go. Now, for the investment properties, in general, there are 2 routes you can go. One is to buy a property and collect rental. This is quite an attractive option, especially recently because people feel that it's passive income. But bro, collect rental is never passive income. It's almost like a full-time job because whenever the tenant has any issues and all these things, you need to actually respond, spend money to repair and whatnot. So really depends on you. If you're the kind that you feel that you can afford a bit more time just to run a business like this, yep, rental property definitely suits you. As we know, income tax right now is 25% for the highest tier, and if let's say you're on the highest bracket, right, whatever rental you collect, first 25% is given to the government as your income tax already. So like for me, I don't own any rental property because I feel that it's absolutely don't make sense for me to pay 25% income tax for my rental. Those people who are of that bracket, right, I will consider going for an investment property which is a 4-year flip. Meaning to say you buy a new launch at under market value, and then every 3 years during the TOP, if can even before it TOP, I will try to sell already, because when you start to TOP, you need to do defects. You need to go down and check, collect keys. Wow, you need to do a lot of things. So for me, I rather 3 years, never collect key, sell 2 to 300,000. So if you wish to know how it works, drop a comment. I will do a video just specifically for that. So like I said, this method is for those who don't like hassle, have a fairly high income, who can afford the loan, and still think that they are in this life or investor stage of building capital. Now for this 4-year flip is altogether different strategy, a different video. So if there are enough requests in the comments, I'm happy to do one video just dedicated to this. Now let me give you a summary. Option number 1, sell already, consolidate your wealth, and use fixed D to compound your wealth so that 60 years old you can retire with $1.8 million. This is a popular option for conservative people, but however you miss out on any form of leverage, and you also miss out on capital gain as well on properties. Option number 2, sell already, elevate your asset portfolio by buying a landed or CCR property. The cons of this is that the investment sum is huge, so meaning to say that your monthly you have to pay a lot of installment, which some of you rather spend your money on your lifestyle. But if you are someone that prefer to spend money on your installment than your lifestyle, then this may be suitable for you. Option number 3, sell 1 buy 2. In general, not much of cons. However, because you have a second property, means to say that every few years or every 1-2 years, you need to constantly be in the market to find out what's going on. You need to sell off the property after 4 years, and then still need to look for another investment, go through all the loan and all these things once again. So if you're someone that prefers no hassle and you don't like all these things, right, then you can consider the option 1 and 2. Now, for the final showdown, which is my recommendation, will be option number, of course I think it's sell 1 buy 2 的嘛. Why? Because today, you just need a low-cost lodging that you can live there, and you have one property that help you to build asset. Especially because this context of the client, they don't have kids. So for people who don't have kids, right, I would think that the benefit of not having kids will be that you can retire early. You don't need to worry so much about legacy. And therefore, right, I would say that if you can retire at 50 years old, that's what I told them. Because, bro, you got 1.9 million, technically 10 years from now, you can retire already. So if let's say you retire at 50 years old, right, you only have a runway of 10 years, you have the opportunity to go into the market for 3 cycles, and if each cycle can actually get you another asset growth of 500k, right, means to say you have $1.5 million extra on top of your $1.9 million, you all in got 3 over mil. If you just put inside fixed deposit at 3% per annum, right, you're getting close to 6 figure every single year, and you can retire liao. So that's what I will recommend to this client based on this context. But like I say, do your own due diligence, because everybody's goals and family structure is very, very different. But this is what I will do, and this is also what I'm currently doing for myself. Okay, that's all we have for today. And as usual, if you enjoy watching content like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and if you could help me share this video with your friend, because I think this can help a lot of people out there, and it just will motivate me to do more videos like this. And most importantly, we're still short of our target of 3k by end of January. Most likely hit 不到啦, but every drop counts. So thank you in advance. With that, wish you all the best. Bye.